So this is UMFM 101.5, Suburban Home, the best place for alt, emo, metal, and everything else. Uh, I am here with Tim of Edmonton metal band Striker. Uh, to start, let's talk about what would you describe Striker as, genre-wise, style-wise. Just kind of describe that.
Or just a fun party metal band. Yeah, it's just kind of a mix of drinking beer and driving monster trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sick. So earlier this year in February, if I'm not mistaken, you guys released Ultra Power. And do you want to talk a little bit about the production, um, like uh, how production and recording and all that, the process of that and writing it?
Yeah, the we went down to Michigan to record with Josh Schrader, who's done lots of super heavy stuff, mostly like Lorna Shore, Signs of the
Yeah.
Swarm, which listening to us, you might not see the connection there, but we just really like the production on that, and he's also Canadian, so that it's always nice for us to work with a fellow Canadian. Can talk about hockey, but yeah, he just really brought a nice layer of brutality to the mix, I guess, if you will. Nice heavy production, and yeah, we've been working on new music basically since COVID. I mean, we did our album Play to Win, which won a Juno. We recorded that one in 2018, and it came out in 2018, I believe. And we did a ton of touring in 2018 and 2019, and then COVID was 2020, and we were originally going to start working on an album at the start of COVID, and we did a little EP kind of, or some songs, which we just released as singles, and then yeah, COVID just kind of ruined everything. So we just kind of sat on it, and then we just sort of kept writing over COVID, and once things kind of cleared up, and we saw that the music industry was still alive, then we decided, okay, let's go record a new album and get back out there. So that's what we kind of did. It's almost like a new band, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, would you say that uh, your recording process and your just everything process, like writing process, and even music release process, uh, was different before COVID than it was after COVID, or how, like, maybe even in your opinion, how the music industry changed, even?
Yeah, for sure. Well, before COVID, I mean, you could just kind of do whatever you want. And I mean, the music industry has sort of been in a circling the drain for basically since Napster came out in like 2000. I think I read a report a couple of years ago that said the music industry had dropped to like 10% of revenue from like, I think its peak in 2001 or something. So I mean, the music industry in and of itself is just pure garbage. It's the shittiest industry you could ever get into. Um, and so I mean, like we've always been motivated just because we like doing it. It's fun. We like going out and seeing the world and shredding. So I mean, that's always been our primary driver. But then when it comes to things like recording and releasing an album, it just ends up costing so much money. Like, uh, or going on tour. Like, if you want to go on tour, Canada, I mean, there's really only like five or six major cities in Canada. If you want to go on tour anywhere, you got to go to the States. If you go on tour in the States, you need to get a visa. It costs a couple $1,000s. If you want to go to Europe, you got to pay for flights. So, I mean, the unfortunate reality is you have to consider the business aspect of it, unless you just like throwing a bunch of money in a fire, which is basically what being in a band is like. But yeah, so pre-COVID it was pretty bad, and then during COVID we had tried to do some tours. I think we had a tour with Unleash the Archers, which was announced, and we had some festivals announced, and another small tour with Dream Evil, which was announced. We had to cancel all that stuff. Um, so that's all very disappointing. But we do have our tour with Unleash the Archers. We have announced that, so that's over in Europe in February, March.
Good.
So that's coming. So things are sort of turning around. I think people really saw that. You know, uh, I think people got absence makes the heart grow fonder. So people over COVID, they're like, oh wait, I can't go and do anything. Oh, and then once bands started coming out, people were like, oh, I can go to shows again. Oh, this, I think people started realizing how much they missed it, and then so I think there's a pretty good space for metal, all things considered. There's
Yeah,
a lot of strong like power metal coming out these days, and there's lots of people going to those shows, so that's cool to see. um, I just hope it continues. It's always you always hope that people come to shows. So I just hope that, in general, people are coming out to shows. Maybe Taylor Swift is inspiring the masses to go out and see live music. So who knows?
absolutely. Um, I want to ask as like a one-off for you, um, because I've never interviewed, I guess, like a party act or anything. Um, is being a member of a touring, like a party metal band, I guess you would call it. Um, is it like it? Would you consider it like a niche or
I suppose so.
yeah,
I mean, everything is its own niche.
yeah,
Even if you look at like someone as big as Taylor Swift again, she has her own niche
yeah,
in the pop music world, and
yeah,
she used to be country or whatever. Everything is its own niche at the end of the day, especially in metal.
yeah,
Everything is so dissected. There's like, oh, this is blackened thrash metal as opposed to death thrash, and it's like it all sounds the same. It just there's so much
fair enough.
metal, and I think it really only really matters to the diehard fans
Yeah,
that have not a lot better things to do, too
yeah,
much time on their hands, that to get in there and really dissect it. I suppose that maybe there's some academic merit to it if you are like a musicologist or something. Sure, I'm happy to let them get into their dissect everything as much as they want, but generally speaking, everybody's in their own little subgenre. Everybody wants to make themselves unique. Everyone's a unique snowflake. But at the end, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just like, is it, you know, uh, being in it so long, everybody's tried to come up with all these different labels for themselves, and it's just like, I don't know, is it a good band or is it a bad band? Do you like the music? And if somebody says, "Oh, I like this music," that's all that really matters to me. So I listen to all kinds of music, and the only label that people should be using is if music is good or not, or I guess more accurately, if they like the music, because music's so subjective. People can like or dislike whatever they want.
no, that's cool. And I asked because obviously you guys have a tour coming up with Siron and a bunch of other bands, very different bands than party metal, we'll say. Some melodic metal, some other stuff. So it's cool to have bands that aren't in just like it's cool to not just have four bands that are just not just party metal, not just, this or whatever. It's cool to have four different kind of niches come together almost, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Variety is the spice of life. So it's nice to have that diversity on tour. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think one thing that a lot of people um, not forget, but maybe don't truly comprehend is that it's all just entertainment, and it's all um, you're all there in service of making sure people have a good time. I
Mhm.
mean, regardless of what genre you want to say you're in, if you're coming out to a live rock or metal show, you are a party band because people are gonna, have fun in the pit. That's what they're supposed to do, right? So the best shows are the ones that are the most fun.
That's totally fair. Yeah. Um, let's talk about the new tour coming up that you guys are starting really soon. Uh, talk about the bands. Talk about just everything coming up.
Yeah, we got a North American tour with Seven Kingdoms and Lutharo and Osyron will be on some of the Canadian dates. So that should be fun. That is the rest of the guys left this morning, so I get to
Mhm.
fly because I just had back surgery.
Okay.
So that tour starts down in Corpus Christi,
Mhm.
Texas, which is about as far away from Edmonton as you can get.
Yeah.
So that's why they're driving now. And first show's on Saturday.
Okay.
And I think you're from Winnipeg, and we hit Winnipeg on
November
the
28th.
29th,
28th.
28th.
Yeah.
That was close. So, yeah, we'll be there in November. Um, we'll be doing in Canada, Kelowna, Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon, and Winnipeg. We just did Toronto, um, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City. Also with Luthar, we did that last month with them, so that was cool. And then after that North American tour with Seven Kingdoms and all those fun stuff that we're just about to leave for, then we're going to do a European tour with Unleash the Archers in February and March. That one should be a lot of fun. Some of those shows have already sold out. Our show at in London actually sold out, I think, within the first couple days. So
Cool.
we
Yeah.
had the venue upgraded, which is always super nice. Just both for fans
Yeah.
and us as performers at those kind of shows. It's always nice when you're well received. So
Yeah.
really looking forward to that. It's always a lot of fun to play with Unleash the Archers. They're an awesome band, cool people, and we've known them for 20 years or something like that now.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's always cool to. I remember we just played a show with them in Chicago in May, and we were just talking about how it was cool that we're still doing it because we were playing shows together, sort of,
Yeah.
same bands on the bill before Striker and Unleash the Archers were even bands, like just different members and different other bands before those bands even started. So it's just cool that you meet these people and you're still playing together after 20 years. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, what were you guys listening to through the recording, writing, and all that of Ultra Power?
well, we were listening to a lot of really heavy hardcore and metalcore stuff,
Nice.
which is one of the reasons we went to Josh
Mm.
Schroeder's, like Lorna Shore, Signs of the Swarm, that kind of stuff that he works on. We're like, damn, this is really good mix. Like, we
Yep.
should go record with this guy. Um, and we also really enjoyed a lot of the sort of Australian hardcore stuff that's coming out. Like, I guess it's a little, it's not quite as new now, but we're listening to a lot of like Alpha Wolf and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. So lots of really brutally heavy stuff that sounds, like the singer is garbage disposal or something, or just the water going down the sink. So lots of super heavy stuff. Die Hard is Murder, and well,
Yeah.
before they got canceled, and Slaughter to Prevail, stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, which tracks did you have the most fun writing and just performing on? And can you speak about some of the lyrical themes you guys have on this new album?
Yeah, we just wanted to be silly and have fun. I mean, we have songs like Brawl at the Pub, which is
Mm.
just kind of just a fun, silly song, and we just wanted to have fun with it. And I mean, that's sort of what the whole album
Yeah.
was like. Since we've been writing over COVID, It was just kind of just, do whatever, write whatever music. And then I think by the end of recording that album, we had really more so solidified what we wanted to do and how we wanted to present ourselves and stuff like that. So I think if we, um, you know, uh, going back in time and to do it all over again, maybe we would have changed a couple things, but we've been recording our own albums and have recorded so many albums that we kind of just took the same process, but I guess it was a little bit of a learning experience. When we were in the studio, we really wanted to focus more on fun, and then by the end of it, we're just like, oh man, we should have done more fun stuff and being even more silly. So I think as we were recording it, we were sort of amping up the fun and the personality, and by the end of it, we're getting a lot of the really fun, silly stuff, like the uh, yapping and stuff like Brawl at the Pub, and just adding funny samples that nobody would ever know about,
Yeah.
that are layered in, and just like weird stuff. So it got a lot more fun. So it was just focusing on fun. And I think by the end of it, we're just like, okay, we're the fun band now. Let's wear some fun colors. Let's have fun in everything that we do. Because, like I mentioned earlier, there's really no music industry anymore. It's just there's it just doesn't exist, especially for metal. I mean, if the only thing you can really get out of it is having fun. I mean, I know a lot of people in big bands that still have day jobs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to make any money from it. You're not going to get anything out of it really other than just fun. So, you might as well enjoy it. You don't, it doesn't make any sense to be a pretentious asshole trying to be like the most brutal death metal dude. Like, just have fun with it, enjoy it. You don't need to be so grim all the time. So that's what we're up to.
Yeah. Um, I guess final question I have is there any maybe Canadian bands or just smaller bands in general that you'd like to play shows with, tour with, just dream bands or bands that are upcoming, up and coming, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I mentioned, we're super stoked to be touring with Unleash the Archers. That's over in Europe. They're not exactly up and coming
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah.
unless maybe you're part of like the true normie mainstream. Then you'd be like, oh wow, who's this new band that's been around for 20 years?
Mhm.
So that's really exciting. I'm sure there's lots of people who haven't heard them though, but they're really making a name for themselves in the metal world these days. So that's awesome. But in terms of more legitimately underground and lesser known bands, for sure, we're mostly, um, I mean, we're from Alberta, so mostly we know of like Western Canadian bands.
Yeah.
Um, we're good friends with a lot of bands and other people in bands. So bands like Traveler, our old bass player Dave Arnold was in that band for a long time. They're cool. We've never done really a tour with them. I think we played a couple shows. Riot City's another fun one. They had a fairly recent album that came out that's pretty awesome. Because again, we've played some shows, but never really touring. Um, so it'd be cool to maybe do something with them one day. There's another band from Edmonton called Timo that we played with a couple times. We like them. We played with a band called Lycanthro from Ottawa. They're cool. So just a bunch of different bands that are fun. Um, it's always nice to see people just going out there and having fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many up and coming bands, especially younger bands, especially out of my city, Winnipeg, that are really cool.
Yeah,
Whether it be metal, whether it be punk, pop punk, whatever, super cool stuff, always coming out.
for
But yeah,
sure.
yeah. Do you have anything that I never covered that you want to cover?
Just that we're coming on tour,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
make sure to get your butts to the Winnipeg show.
yeah. Get your tickets November 28th with Seven Kingdoms. Yeah. Thank you so much. This was an honor to do this with you. I'll see you November 28th at
Hell yeah.
Side Stage. Get it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into UMFM 101.5 Suburban Home at Home. Again, the best place for emo, alternative, metal, and everything in between, whatever you want to call it. It's all here.